What's up, guys? Ben Sam Like TV here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out this video. This is my follow-up video. I've gotten some calls from my video that I made where I left my former insurance IMO. Right now, some people have been asking me where I went. I'm at Family First Life now. So to answer that question, still there, doing, enjoying it. I'm happy that I'm, having actually making what I'm worth. I would say the time I'm putting in, the effort makes a big difference. That even though small percentage is higher, sometimes you can, for some people it's a lot higher, and then in the long run you can go up higher. It makes a big difference. So that's a follow up on that. But a lot of people, I've had a number of people contacting me looking into this industry, and I want to really just be honest with people and make this video because it just seems like a lot of people, they want to research just like I did when I was coming into this industry, trying to find answers, real answers. And for me, just to know, yes, I'm still working, with an IMO, I'm building a business, but I'm not really desperate for people. And I think that's the problem. Some of these agents, they want to build a business, they want to go up in the ranks, they want to make more money. So they really are, how should I say, not disclosing everything that potentially they should. For me, I believe to help somebody be successful at this, I feel that if you give everyone all the information up front, then they really can make a good decision and have more likelihood of success in this industry. I hate to see, so many agents come in, they're pushed in, they're not really told everything up front. They find out as they go, which, to me, it's just not a really good experience. And then sometimes they're not a good fit, or else they just weren't prepared and they fail because of that. So I just think it doesn't help anyone. I mean, to me, I'm busy. I'm a busy person. I'll take agents who are aggressive, who are confident, who really want to, they want to do a good job. I don't have to push them. I don't have to, they're self-managed. They have some capital to start out with so that they're not starting at a disadvantage, or they're just willing to learn and take time and know that, hey, I'm not going to make money right away, but I want to learn this new industry, and I know in the long run it's going to pay off, because it does. It's a great industry. I love. I'm so glad I found this industry. But to me, it's just another stream of income for me. I have another career that I'm involved with, helping people. It's in the trading and investing industry, so I can help on that side. And then I'm doing life insurance here. I trade also. So there's a lot of things that I'm involved in, different multiple streams of income, which I think this industry is great for that, because you can work from home, or you can just, the people you meet in whatever other job you have, you can just, hey, mention I sell life insurance, and when I was looking for life insurance, I didn't know anybody. So, I was going to call State Farm. And once I started selling life insurance, I remembered that, and I made sure, I said, well, I'm going to tell all my friends and family. I'm not going to pressure nobody. I don't need to sell them, but I'm going to let them know that I sell life insurance. And either A, do you want me to find you a quote if you're interested? Or B, if you already have life insurance, do you want me to make sure that agent puts you in the right product? These are my friends and family, so I feel I can do that. So here's some of the key things I want to tell you when you're looking into this industry that most agents recruiting you won't tell you, because they're just trying to kind of paint a picture of, this is easy money, this is great, you can be part-time and make full-time money, and you don't, there's no real expenses and whatever, just come on in and let's get going, right? And that's usually what they do. They it's real fast. Go to school, get your license, we'll train you for a week, and then you find out, okay, one company, I heard someone called me and said, this company said they provide leads. And I said, yes, some of these companies, like my company, some of these other companies, they do provide leads. Some of them don't. So with your IMO, the first thing you want to find out, do they have leads? Because that's huge. If you don't have leads, you can't do this full time. Okay. If you don't have a full-time inflow of leads, but those leads that you get from all these companies, it's the same thing, whether you're buying the top leads or you're getting the age leads, these leads, a lot of times, they're not people who are going to be, oh yeah, I mean, you'll get 1 out of 10 leads. Out of 10 people you talk to may be like, oh yeah, that was me, I'm interested, yeah, let's do an appointment. So in that sense, it's a numbers game. You got to find those people who sent that in. A lot of times these people are sending these leads and they don't know what this is. They filled this form out, what is this, I don't even know. Sure, sign it. And then they get an agent calling them, they get 5 agents calling them, because some of these companies resell the leads, and then the leads get resold as they get older. So in that sense, you might be competing with other agents. But here's what I say: if you don't like that, then don't get in this industry, because if you've been in sales, I've been in sales 20 years. That's just a lead, okay? If you get someone that you can talk to, and someone gives you something that can connect you with a potential client, that's huge. I mean, I worked for some places where I'm just sitting around waiting all day for someone to walk into the building so that I can present the product to them. You know, you might get one or two shots, but you know, so when they say we provide leads, yeah, some of these companies, that means they have leads available. That doesn't mean they're going to give them to you, okay? They cost money. So you have to buy your own leads. That's the first thing some of these people don't tell you. So I'm telling you right now, if any company says they provide leads, most likely that you have to buy them yourself. And they could range, you know, from like, you know, 50, 60, 70, $80, depending where you're getting these brand new fresh leads per lead, down to like a couple dollars, down to $1. Those leads could be 2 years old. But like I said, when my friend first started in this industry, the first 3 months he only bought the old leads, and he was afraid to spend more money than that. But he was getting, you know, clients, and he was getting policies, and that's why he kept buying them. Because but he, you know, his upline told him you can't keep doing that though for the long run, because you'll burn out eventually. But so then he started getting the more expensive leads. But what we found out is that, here's the second thing you got to understand, is that, you know, when you're getting a certain percentage, whether it's 50%, 60%, 70%, 90%, 100%, you know, upfront when you sign up for one of these IMOs, you know, and with my IMO, that's one thing I'm so happy I can sign people up for a higher percentage right off the bat, get them going, which not only helps them, but then it helps them build a downline, because they can compete with all these other IMOs. They can start their downline off, even though they just started a higher, which is great. And that makes a huge difference, because here's the math. Okay, they're gonna break the math down to your recruiter will, and it's a little different than what I experienced. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you sell $10,000 in life insurance. And this is what people, when they call me all the time, like, what can I really make? Give me an idea how it really works. So here it is. I'll tell you. $10,000 in a week of life insurance, if you sell that, or even you could say in a month. I sold 10,000 in a month, which is, it's not bad for an agent, okay? And I can get into other things about that later, but let's just make it simple. 10,000 in life insurance in the month. You sold 2,500 a week in policies, you know, that's doable. But I would say you have to work close to full time, if not full time, because you're going to be making calls, setting up appointments to get that 10,000 a month. You're going to be running those appointments, and people will be showing up. Sometimes they won't show up. So you have to make enough appointments so that you can get that 2,500. And you have to do follow-up. Okay, this is one part I didn't understand. Follow-up to me is almost half the business, is that you're calling these companies, you're trying to figure out how the policy works, you're trying to ask about your client. You put in a policy, and then they send you a letter saying, oh, we need to get this extra form filled out. Now you got to call the company. What is this extra form? Where do I find this extra form? And you got to get the extra form, then you got to send it to your client, then the client fills it out, then they send it back. And that's okay. That's just part of the business. But I want people to be aware of this starting off. This is part of the business. If you can, you number one, you got to learn to do the front end call. Then you got to learn how to do the appointment. And then you need to learn how to put in the application. And then you need to learn how to follow up, because that's huge. Some agents don't follow up, and they just let some of these policies just go off. But if you just put a little extra time, button them up, make sure they're good, you can get that policy. And sometimes one insurance company won't approve them, then you try with a different one, and you don't let it go. You really try to get these people approved, and eventually, you know, you can get that sale. And so that's 10, let's just say 10 grand. You worked full time for that. Okay, you worked 4 or 5 days a week, you know, 35, 40 hours a week, whatever. I think, you know, depending on how much, you know, how much of that follow-up you got to do, that would determine how much how much time you put in. Now, plus training, like whenever I wasn't following up or putting in policies in the first 6 months, I was always trying to train, always learn. I would call the insurance companies, and because my upline, you know, we had good training, you know, we had training meetings every day, but I would just, you know, a lot of times you can't make those meetings, your schedule is different, right? So if you can't make those meetings, you got to find some of this stuff out yourself, because a lot of these IMOs, you know, they're quick to sign you up, but your upline a lot of times may not always be available once you're in, okay? Because they're trying to sell themselves, and they got a big downline, or they got a couple people they're trying to take care of. And that's why I'm not really trying to just take everybody in. And that's why I'm not afraid to tell everyone this, because I don't, you know, I'm not worried about, oh no, these, then maybe people won't want to do this. That's okay. Don't do this if you aren't ready to come in and do this, because like I said, I would rather have you come in prepared and more likely succeed than come in unprepared and you know, have a false expectation and fail. That's terrible for people. They don't need to do. I've had people call me and I'm a single mom, and I don't have a job now, and I just need to get in this and start making, 10, 15 grand a month. Is that possible? And I'm like, it's possible, but here's what you need to understand. Okay, that 10 grand now you made in a month. Let's say you start at, some of these places start you at 70%. Let's say, for instance, hypothetical, 70%. Now, that 70% is only for 30-year term products. Meaning, like, if you sold a mortgage protection or life insurance that's 30 years, you know, um, 30-year term. So there's 25 years, there's 20 years, then there's another policy that's a term policy that will give you the 70% most of the time. If you sell like a 25 or a 20, it might go down to 65% or 60. Then if you sell, half your customers are going to find, or your clients will be whole life, meaning they're older, they're a little sicker, they can't qualify a lot of times for term. It doesn't make sense. It's too expensive. So you get them a whole life policy, which there's a way to, present that where it's attractive. But those could be 60%, 55%, depending who they're with and how old they are. And so all of a sudden you're like, then there's another policy that if they're like can't have cancer or had cancer recently, or you can get someone one of those policies. There's certain kind of policy for that, but then it's only 50% possibly when you're starting at 70. Now, that's the first thing. So you have to say, okay, let's say, be nice, the average is 60%. Okay, let's say average, I'm making 60% on all those, that $10,000. So that's $6,000. So for 10,000 in a month you wrote, you're bringing home 6,000. But let's wait. There's more. Okay, so 6,000. Remember, now you had to buy leads. How much leads would you have to buy typically to get 10,000 in sales? I would say about 2,000, and I'm being generous. You might have to pay more, but you could buy the cheap leads and be calling nonstop. So you're working more than full time at that point. Okay, if you want to make that 10 grand and you're buying more age leads, you are working full time for sure at that point, maybe even a little more. So then let's just say 2 grand. Make the math easy. Okay, it could be less. So now that six turns into four. You just made 4,000 this month, and you worked full time. Now remember, you're only getting 75% of that up front, because that's how it works. So 75% of that is $3,000. You get the rest of it if they pay on month 10, 11, 12. You get the rest of the 25%. But the insurance company gives you 75% up front. That's $3,000 you just made in a month. So ask yourself, full time, $3,000. That's starting at 70%. And a lot of times they'll show you different numbers, but you might make 12 or 13,000 in a month, but they're not telling you some of those canceled. You have some cancellations. So I would say 10,000 a month, that could be average. You can make more than that, but you might even make less some months. So maybe you had 15,000 this month. Next month you only had 5. That's still averaging 10,000 a month. And once you get good, there's other ways. There's IULs, there's annuities you can jump into. But starting off in this industry, that would be, I would say, a good medium place that you can kind of say, hey, where would I be starting at? If you're good at sales. If you're not even good at sales and you're just getting into this industry, it's a whole new field, guys. Okay, just understand that. So you need to give yourself, I tell people, take 3 months, 6 months, where you can have a cushion for leads, where you can have ability to learn this new trade, this new career, this new field. And you have to learn a lot. Some of these companies, they'll throw you in, they'll get you started, and then their whole goal is get you through it as fast as they can, train you for about a week, and then go buy leads, go sell, go sell, go sell. And you might get 1 or 2 policies, 3 policies. You might get lucky and get somebody will agree to do a meeting. They might help you close a couple of them, then you might get lucky and close one. But like I said, if you're only getting a sale here and there, and you're depending on this for a full-time income, you only make it a month or 2 or 3 and be like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't afford to live off this. And you're going to drop it and quit. But guess what happened? That company, now here's number two that people don't realize. There's the 10,000 that you just made for that month. But the reason why I did life insurance is there's something called residuals, right? At the end of the year, if that person keeps paying every month, potentially that life insurance company will pay you a small percentage of that payment every month. And that's why that was attractive to me. If I can just keep doing this and just keep putting policies, eventually those trailers will keep growing, right? That's beautiful. And so, but what I didn't realize is when you start that low, say 70%, 60%, 50, a lot of times you're not even getting you're not qualified for trailers then. So guess where those trailers are going? up. So you just wrote 3 policies, 6 policies, whatever, you quit, and you get not, you're going to collect on the rest of those policies, but their trailers are going up. So just imagine every month they're getting new agents in, writing 3, 4 policies, quitting, writing 3, 4 policies, quitting. They're not only making they're not even getting you're getting off your downline. You can also make that spread. So there's 3 different things I'm talking about: your commission, which you made right up front; trailers, which if you're qualified, if you like, when you start with like Family First, like I did, I get trailers for all my insurance companies right off the bat, which is great. So if I ever stop writing, or I'll continue to get those trailers of those people that keep paying. And then the third thing is the spread between you and your agents. Now, some companies pay up to like 110, 120, top for their agents. That's all they pay. We pay up to 140. I think even 145, I can't remember, but we pay higher. So your spread between you and your agents, let's say I'm at 120 and you're at 100, that's 20% spread. So, you write it, whatever you write, you get commission, I get commission. So if I get a bunch of people in and they're writing, even if it's 3 or 4 policies, I still got commission off those. Plus, I'm getting all those trailers. Those trailers go up to me, and whoever is high enough gets trailers. So if I just keep getting new recruits in, as long as they keep coming, that's a terrible model. I feel that's why, one reason I wanted to come to a place where people have the opportunity to make their own trailers. Now, for leads are a big thing. Like I said, we have leads. For me, I haven't had to buy the A leads yet. I know they may be a little more expensive here from what I've heard, but that's because you're keeping the money for yourself. Whereas if someone's giving you cheaper leads, you got to understand that's because they want you to sell more, so that those trailers and the commissions keep flowing up, and that extra money can then be put into a system where leads can be cheaper, but then you're making way less, and that's going up, of course. So it's in the interest of some of these companies that you would just keep selling, realizing you're on the hamster wheel. And number one, it's going to be hard for you to pay your bills, and number two, it may be hard for you, and number two, it's going to be hard to build a downline. Because with social media, someone's going to watch my video and say, oh, wow, I can start at 90 or 100%. What am I doing here for 40, 50, 60, 70? This is crazy. What am I doing? I can, and you might have that like me. I had to wait 6 months, but that's all done. I'm good now. I got all my carriers back. I'm so happy. And it was worth it. I have no regrets. So some people, when I was at certain, I heard certain things: the grass is always never greener. Well, it's a little greener, I'd have to say. So, and it's never greener in the sense that, you don't have to work, you don't have to hustle, you don't have to do grind to get that money, to help people. But it's, hey, if you're making an extra for doing the same thing, I'm making an extra, 20, 30, 40%. This is a no-brainer, right? So that's it. So that's part of what you have to consider. Now, when you come in the business, some of these guys make you pay for schooling. We don't have, as of now, when this video is being made, you don't pay for schooling. For us, schooling's free, which I like, because I like people to not, if you're just trying to get into this industry and figure, it's already you got to jump through a bunch of hoops to get in this industry, starting off with the schooling, then you got to get past the state licenses, and then you got to get trained. So the schooling could cost. Some of those places charge for schooling. Some of them give a discount. We pay for it. I mean, ours is free. So free schooling, which is good, but you do got to pay for the licenses. So these are some of the upfront costs you need to be aware of. It's about certain states is $100, $200. So it could be 100, a couple hundred, depending if you're doing life and health. That's 2 tests. If you fail the test, then you had to pay for that test again. So be prepared. Okay. So that's a couple hundred right there, maybe 200 to 300. Be prepared to have. Then there's EO insurance, which some people didn't tell me until I got in. Oh yeah, EO insurance. Oh yeah, as you're getting contracted, that's when you find out this thing called EO insurance, that it's to protect you in case something happens. I don't know, whatever. It's you got to buy it on yourself to sell life insurance. They all require it. So that's like 30, 40, $50 a month. I can't remember what it is, something like that. So that's another cost you're gonna have. Zoom, you might have to pay for Zoom. Like I pay for Zoom because I have more than 1 hour meetings, and this is pretty much my Zoom is how I do all my business now, without my other job as well as with this job. So you might have that Zoom fee. I can't remember, what is it, $20 or something. If you ever want to buy any licenses outside of your state, like I have about 12 licenses from other states, that's another 100, 200 per each of those. Sometimes it could be less, sometimes more. So I think one of them was like 250 or something. So that's your domestic or your out of state licenses. Those are easy to get. You just fill out a form. You don't got to pass any more tests on those. Those are some fees you might encounter. Now leads, that's one of the biggest. Leads are when you're going to be your biggest expenses, like I said. So if you don't have lead money up front, you got, you can't expect to buy $100 aged leads and think that you're going to be able to make a big living out of this. That's a great way to start. That's perfectly fine. If you have another job on the side and you're coming in and kind of doing this and learning this on the side, that would be great. If you can do something like that, then I would feel very comfortable saying you have a good chance of potentially learning this industry and being good at it, not having to be totally relying on this as a first income in the beginning. That could be something you might want to consider, because it could be hard relying on this. And if you can't make enough sales, like I said, now if you start off, let's say at 100%, just to see the difference, same numbers, 100, now 90, we'll call it 90 because it's the same thing with Family First. Some policies are cheaper. So we said 670, 60. I'm saying the same, apples to apples, 190. So you make 10 grand, you're bringing home 9 now. Okay, 9 minus the 2,000 for leads, that's 7. And you're getting, so for the exact same work, you're bringing home 52, 50, over 5 grand. Okay. Not, most people say, hey, I can probably, working full time, I can make more than that, especially good salespeople. If I really would have known the numbers, I would probably wouldn't have gotten, just, so maybe that's good. I did know a little bit, because that I was able to get it and stick with it. And I did have some money that I was dipping into that was paying bills while I was learning this. So that was one thing I didn't like to see. But so that same work, instead of bringing home, what was it, 3, now you're bringing home over 5. And for some people, that's a huge difference. And remember, that's just in the beginning. Then eventually you're going to get more agents with you. Then you're going to get better. You're going to learn how to sell different products. You're going to go up in scale. So from 100 to 105 to 110, which for them, for certain industries, if they're starting at 50, to get to 60, 70, whatever, or 70, 80, 90, those are usually doable. But then to get to a certain point, you hit a ceiling, it's very hard to go up at that point. So if you're starting at 70 and you get to 90, let's say that's your ceiling. So now you're at 90, you're still not even where I'm starting, starting people. You start at 100 and now you go up that same 20, you're at 120 now. Think about that. So now you're plateaued at 90 here and you're plateaued at 120 here. That's okay. It's like 120. Now you're bringing home, you know, potentially 7 grand, 7, 8 grand now, right? So whatever, 7 grand, whatever. Even that, just for working for 10, doing 10,000 a month. For a lot of people, okay, I can live with that, and then maybe you can put an annuity in. An annuity, you might make 10 grand with an annuity in a month, so that will start to spread. So this industry is great in that sense, okay. But it makes a big difference where you're at in percentages. It could be the thing that makes you survive, or the thing that will cause you to end up not being able to survive in this. So your upfront commission, your trailers, and then also your residuals off your downline as they grow. And that's pretty much, I mean, there's a lot more that, there's some other things I can get into, but I don't want to make this video too long. I know it's already getting kind of long, so I'll just leave it at that. If I've been answering some people's questions, feel free, my emails is in the comment box below. Message me, email me if you're having some questions. I'll answer all your questions. I have nothing. I'm not going to hide anything from you guys. I believe this is a great industry, but I feel that for some, it's sad that some people have been brought in a way that's not probably going to be the most beneficial for them. And I feel I want to try to help in that way, that if people are looking for some questions being answered, they're looking into this industry, go ahead, message me your number and a time to call you, and I'll try to reach out to you as soon as I can. I've been doing that, helping as much people. All I ask is just, continue to support the channel, like, subscribe, comment if you have any comments down below. And hopefully this video helped you guys in your journey and trying to figure out if this is going to be a good fit for you. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. Ben Sam Like TV. See you guys next time. Bye.